Good afternoon and welcome to the station. This is the first episode and one in which we're going to discover how we came to be where we're at in our journey of model railroading over the past 2.5 years. Welcome to Hope Railroad. As we begin our journey together, you can see Zippy in the window. We are going to take you back to my first attempts at my first layout, and then bring you full circle over to Hope Railroad and walk you through to where we are today. And I hope you enjoy the journey. Feel free to like and give a thumbs up and subscribe. Welcome to the station. Okay, so this is my first attempt at N-scale railroading. I am doing a tabletop N-scale layout. It's 32 by 44, just a small little layout. I've built the base out of 1 by 4, and then I put a 2-inch piece of styrofoam followed by an 1.5 inch styrofoam on top of that. And then I'm going to put my layout, begin that layout base as we go. Okay, so I am using the Bachmann Easy Track Connect. I've laid out what I think I'm going to be using for this small little layout, and so I've got an inner circle with a just a spot for the trains, followed by an outer oval. And what I'm planning to do is to raise the outside oval up and then leave the bottom one down. We've got some spot for industry, and we'll have a spot for a town. And then on the upper level, we're going to have some kind of more hill mountain range area. Okay, so once again, I made a few modifications as we continue to try to design this layout. I have DCC running on the outside oval and DC running on the inside loop. And so we're just getting the trains up and running before we begin to add in a few more of the features. Okay, as you can see, made some additional modifications to the model railroad layout. I've added some layers to it. I have 3 main lines traveling around in an oval on each level. We're looking at putting together maybe a mountain. I'm not sure whether the town will go on the top or on the 3rd level there, and then the mountain on top. Looking probably for maybe like a waterfall area as well in that. So this is a little bit more of the changes as this model railroad evolves. Hey railroad friends, making a little bit of progress. Ended up flipping over the base and putting a layer of the styrofoam on top of the base, and then another layer for my first main line. And then I'm building up now the 2nd layer with a tunnel that will go on each side and a mountain at the back. And then on this side here, I'm going to have 2 bridges as we go up. So in there. So model railroaders, I do have a little bit of an update here as we keep continuing on. I have got the 2nd layer, and then this is my first attempt with the plaster cloth. And this is our first layer of the plaster cloth, and we will add a 2nd one later. But so far coming along pretty good. The 2nd coat of the plaster cloth has been applied. Just waiting for it to dry. Then I will sand and begin to paint. Okay, railroaders, I've got 2 layers now of the plaster cloth on the 1st level. And I will be beginning to build on to the 2nd level, where we'll begin that plaster process as well. Okay, welcome back, and now I have 1 coat of earth tone paint, the burnt umber mix on the layers. Hey railroaders, I've got 2 coats of paint, and I put on the track, just laid it on here to see how it would look, and we will be gluing that down and doing some other paint touch-ups to the mountain ridges and the sides. Hey model railroaders, got my 3 trains running in 3 different loops. The second coat of paint is on and dry. Got a few buildings on there. So we begin to now glue down the track, solder some of the track together, and get it all ready for the next step. Hey model railroaders, next update, added a few buildings, got a few cars added just to see how the trains would run around the layout. I have on Tuesday the bridges coming to put in here. I'm gonna have to add the roads, the grass, some of the landscaping areas as well, but things seem to be running around pretty good, and that's looking like it's happening. Okay, well that brings us back to Hope Railroad. I just wanted to kind of bring you up to speed with how we got to where we are. It's still a work in progress. There's a lot to do and some ongoing things that will continue, I'm sure, for quite a while. Hope Railroad was conceived as we moved into this new to us home about 1.5 years ago as a layout that I wanted in a small space. The space of this area here to give me the opportunity to run some trains. I like to see the long movements of the railroad, but also to compact as much possible into a small space that I have here. We changed out our hollow core doors with the newer hollow core doors, the more up-to-date ones. And so we had available some of the doors, and I watched probably hundreds of videos on door layouts and door railroads. Many of you inspired some great ideas. And so when I first began, I had a hollow core door on this side on brackets against the wall. And then as I designed the layout, I expanded it over to this side and cut another hollow door to fit into this angle over here, and began to lay out some of the track. I bought a lot of Unitrack, a lot of the buildings and engines from a number of different sources on Marketplace and Amazon. And so when I had the hollow core doors, what I did notice was one of the things that was a challenge was the stability of those things. And so I changed out, I got rid of the hollow core doors and then built 2x4s and plywood with legs supporting it, as well as the angle attached to the wall. And so that gives it a little bit more stability on the layout, especially when I'm reaching over to certain areas. I have created 2 town areas, elevated. One elevated on this side over here, still in progress, haven't really laid out. I was hoping to put a trolley track around there, the city area itself. And then as we move through the roundhouse area for the engines, the proposed station area, we have over here the buildings and the where engine storage and cars can be serviced, and unloading and loading. And over here again, another elevated city area that I have yet to kind of finalize in my design. All the while having the railroad run underneath these kind of city areas to give it sort of a change of perspective, and not seen as it kind of hides it once in a while. Over here, I've just laid out a few homes, but my kind of thinking and intent was that this would be more of a beach area with, elevated homes along the shoreline, more of a, docking area, etc. And then moving into the river area. And I had initially hoped for like a dock in there that we could have a loading area, maybe some barges in the river. I picked up this here from a fella in Quebec who was selling this design that he had made, tree line. And so I've also considered whether or not I'm going to use that as a separation and maybe fill in this area, and then the tree line as a separation from the two. Haven't decided fully. It's not something that I could find anywhere else that it fits in this layout. So I may end up taking this and using it with my other layout, which I'm in the midst of putting together. And it is a T-Track modular layout that I've been creating. And so maybe I'll end up using that on the T-Track module layout. On this side here, I've created kind of a grain area, a metal factory over here. Not sure yet about whether I'm going to use my tire area. I was using to use it there if I kept the river. And then the mountain area, still work in progress. I just laid that out there for now. And then behind there, I have a spur over here. This is for future expansion. There's a possibility maybe I could expand the layout on this side if I was to make some room over here, or maybe I can just use this area as a yard, staging yard area. Those are some of the things that I have yet to kind of finalize. One of the biggest learning curves for me, one of the many, there are a number of, putting track together, making things work properly as far as how the design goes and the running of the trains. But the biggest area for me was the wiring. And so I again spent many hours watching many hundreds of YouTube videos, and I say thank you to those who have posted many of those videos to help with the understanding of wiring, just to get the track to operate properly without shorts and without problems. Becomes somewhat of a challenge also to make sure wiring is consistent. It's a DCC layout, and so having wiring throughout the layout at different spots, wiring the areas in which are isolated as well. I've got a few isolated areas, and then the switches. I haven't got them all wired, but I'm in the midst of working on many of those switches for wiring as well. Just kind of making sure all of that works together has been an interesting and a learning experience for me. And I'm still in the midst of that. I got to wire up the roundhouse, got to wire up each of the individual tracks there. And it's all kind of underneath the layout and just trying to make sure that that all operates properly. I would appreciate any of your comments, any of your suggestions, any of your ideas and thoughts as I continue to kind of just finalize before I move into gluing down the track and ballasting the track, and then beginning to work through the roads and the landscaping of this and taking it to the next level. And so if you've got some comments or some ideas or suggestions, whether you like the idea of the tree line or whether I should continue to leave what I had initially, moving the buildings and making it a more of a docking area and loading area with some barges in the river. I would love your ideas and your thoughts and your comments. So we plan on updating you as we go, and so hopefully I'll be able to upload a video again in the next few weeks or so. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on Welcome to the Station.